Hello, I'm going to tell you a story, but first you need to know the background, because you don't know the background. I have learned in the past to be careful about what information I share, because there is the occasional, and one in particular, obsessive nut job who likes to take what they think they know about me and use it against me as a sort of angle of attack. It's kind of amusing because they're wrong, and kind of sad because, well, it just is. So yeah, I'm careful about what I share. So one thing you don't know about me, because I'm careful about it, well, you don't know anything about my family. I don't talk about them. They have their own private lives and it's nothing to do with you lot. But family is a part of this story that I want to share with you. So you need to know one thing. Grandchildren. I'm a granddad, well, a step-granddad. That's as much as you need to know about my family. It's a large family. There are a lot. When we have a family get-together, that's quite a lot of people. So, grandkids, family get-togethers, and we have two very large dogs who are boisterous and bowl about. And that makes family get-togethers at this house difficult, to the point that we've actually taken to going to other family members' houses for the get-togethers, because babies and toddlers and big dogs, if you're sensible, you don't. The potential, I mean, obviously the dogs, they're lovely animals. They're not going to attack anyone, babies or whatever, but they're big and they bowl around, and the potential for mishaps. So yeah, we've been going to other family members' houses for get-togethers, and this is, it's not ideal, you know. It would be nice to have people come round here. I've done a lot of decorating over the past year. Decorated the living room, decorated... What else have I decorated? I decorated the kitchen. Yeah, we've had an amount done. I've done an amount, and we were going to we were looking into having a conservatory built onto the house. The idea being we could either shut the dogs in the conservatory or the living room, and we would use, you know, in a get-together we'd have everyone in the... It's quite a big kitchen, in the kitchen and the conservatory, and access to the garden and everything. There was a plan. It would have worked, but it was expensive and there were planning issues, and in the end it just seemed to be not, well, a lot of aggravation. And then Andrea had the idea of, what about a summer house? Because when we have get-togethers, we like to have well, let's say garden parties. It's not all your fancy aristocratic nonsense with your big table and your fancy cutlery and crockery and blah. No, it's just a bunch of family and people in the garden with food, sometimes beer, chilling in the sunshine and larking about. Yeah, Andrea decided, well, let's have a summer house built. Now that in itself was not an immediately easy thing to have done, because the garden was a mess. Well, no, not a mess, rustic, shall we say. I'm going to pick up the camera and show you part of our garden. So all of these borders were covered in wood, literally from about this tree here all the way down there. All around the sides were covered in dead branches off of this tree. And they were there because Bailey, the bigger of our two dogs, likes to jump at the fence, and he actually found he could jump over the fence when he was younger. So basically whenever I had to prune that tree, which was pretty much every year, I would just pile the branches that are cut off up along in the borders, blocking his access to the fence so he couldn't jump over or at, because he was either knocking the fence down, or in one case he got over. It's a high fence, but he got over the fence into a neighbour's garden, which upset them. He's a friendly dog, so he just bowled around. He laughs. He's a happy dog, and he was bowling around, having a whale of a time, and they were like, what the hell? So yeah, blocked all his access to the fence with branches. 10 years worth of that. Basically, it needed to go. We needed to make it, or wanted to make it presentable. If we were going to have family and kids and everyone in this garden, it had to look better. And also we had a shed. And this shed was just full of junk. I'm going to put up a photo so you can see what this here shed looked like. Full of junk, and things would just get dumped around it, in front of it, behind it, you name it. It had to be cleared. It had to be emptied and demolished. So that was my task, clearing away all of the wood, demolishing, emptying and demolishing the shed and all the stuff that was piled around it. So that took about a month, 6 weeks, probably actually about 6 weeks, and 3 skips, big builder's skips, and I filled 3 of them with the junk from this garden and the shed, demolished the shed. That was fun because there was a bumblebee's nest in it. I emptied out all of the junk, except in this one corner there was a box, and in the box, if you went near it, you could hear buzzing, and if you moved it, swarms of bees would come flying out, and it was shit scary actually. It was scary. I'm not a fan. I mean, bumblebees are the most placid of bees. They're not likely to attack you, but you know, they can stick. They don't actually have a stinger like a honeybee. They bite like an ant. But anyway, I didn't want to get stung. What I found I was able to do, I managed to move the box. It was a cardboard box. I moved it into the middle of the shed, and then got a plastic swing bin without the lid on it and put that over the top. No, it was a bucket, I tell a lie. I put a bucket over the top of it and then slid something underneath that, kind of like you do with a glass and a piece of paper to catch a spider. And I moved it. I moved this box into a large bin that still sits in the corner of our garden, and then put a swing bin over the top of it. Basically, the bees could get in and out of their box. They were protected from rain and sun and everything like that, and perfectly happy. And the nest is still there. Bumblebees don't stay in their nests overly long, so they stayed in it for as long as suited them and then moved on. But yeah, we didn't have to call in exterminators or anything like that, because that's not what we want to do, you know. We want to protect the things. Anyway, bumblebees moved. I demolished the shed, and that was fun. Crowbars. I literally just took it apart. First board by board, and then when I'd taken out one wall and taken off the roof, the rest of the whole thing, I'd just like lean on it and over it went. That was fun, and took it bit by bit and dumped it into the skip. So 3 skips full of rubbish. Obviously they brought them one at a time, took them away. Come the 3rd skip was due to be taken away the week before the summer house was due to be brought here. And they were going to put the summer house, it was coming flat pack on a big 4-meter long pallet to be put on the front of our house. We've got, like, it's concreted in the front of our house, and they were going to put it there. Great, that we thought. That there's a week between getting the skip gone and the pallet being put there, and then another few days before the guys come to build the summer house. Only several months ago we'd had a letter telling us that Virgin Media were going to be digging up our street to lay fibre optic cable. We heard about that like 3 months ago, and then that was the last we heard. We heard nothing else until about 2 days before they're due to bring the pallet. No, it was a week before. We're just about to have the skip taken away, at which point basically Virgin come and dig up our street, and the skip lorry can't get access to the street. We can't get cars in and out, and just nothing on the street can move because everything has been dug up. So here we are with a skip on the front that we can't get rid of, expecting a pallet with a summer house, and the whole street's dug up. I'm just like, this is going to be a bloody disaster. They're not going to deliver it, and it's expensive. This was not a cheap investment. Fortunately, the skip driver is a no-nonsense kind of chap, and he came back. He came back the day before the pallet was due to arrive. The skip driver just comes driving down the street, bugger everything, and he drives over the trench that they've dug, you know, and picks up his skip, wheels basically in the trench, doesn't care, picks up the skip, drives away. Great, really, really thumbs up, cool guy, very much appreciated the effort, and just no bullshit, you know, I'm getting this skip whether you like it or not attitude. As it is, I mean, the guys that were digging up the road were really, they were cooperative and everything. They were like, yeah, we'll get him down here. They were doing the best they could to cause as little disruption as possible while completely trashing our street. But it was a very stressful time. And then, of course, the very next day, we've got another whopping great big lorry trying to get down this street. And you've got neighbours who are parked on one side of the road, and the other side is being dug up, and there's not much room. And this guy gets this bloody great big lorry with a crane on it down our street, outside our house, and cranes this whopping great big pallet onto the front of our house, whilst workmen are digging up the street either side of him, and it was mental, absolutely mental. So he leaves it there, and then it pisses it down with rain, and there are like, it's got sheeting and everything on it, but there's holes in it, and I'm thinking this is just going to get ruined. And a few days later, anyway, the guys who are going to put up the summer house, they turn up. And it is difficult because our dogs need to come out into the garden a good few times a day. Max is an arse. You can't take this dog for a walk. You won't. You show him a lead, he runs away. You take him outside on a lead, all he wants to do is come back into the house. He's a nervy, stressful dog. So, but we've got a pretty decent sized garden, so basically they both do all their business and everything in our garden. Lots of exercise. They love it. And but you know, they need to come out to do their business, which is difficult when you've got workmen laying concrete in your back garden because it's got a concrete base. So we made it work. I'm thinking this is going to be awful, and it took 3 days from laying concrete base to putting the whole thing together. But it worked. It got done. There were no disasters. It was fascinating watching them put it up, and I thought it's going to be like flat pack pre-made panels, some kind of prefabricated thing where they just, here's a wall, there's another wall, lift them up, put a roof on, and that's your lot. No, this thing was done plank by plank, one at a time, and these are not thin pieces of wood. This is big, thick wood. I will show you shortly. I'm sitting in it at the moment, as I'm sure you can tell. Yeah, 3 days of that, and they did a brilliant job. It's insulated, the floor is insulated and heated, the roof is insulated, it is sealed. There are areas where you can see light coming through at the joins between the walls and the ceiling, but they are actually, there's clear sealant put in there, which actually I put there. Just to stop drafts, really. You won't get water coming in because of the way it's constructed. There are overhangs and things. But I'm like, we're going to use this summer, winter, whatever. It's double glazed. It's got electricity. Yeah. So they did a brilliant job. And then it's like, we had a garden party the day after it's been put up, basically. Nothing, no, yes, furniture arrived the day it was finished. The workmen left, the furniture arrived within an hour. And then basically the next day we had a garden party, and it's hot out there and nice and cool in here, and we had food in here, and people, half the people, there were 11 people, including babies, in the garden, in here, in the kitchen. It's just great. But then the day after that, I take it upon myself to start. It was all untreated wood, so it needed varnishing inside and treating on the outside. I'm gonna take you for a look now. I'm gonna pick the camera up and show you what it looks like. I'll show you the outside first. So that's treated with Sadolin, which is what the website recommended. And it's one coat stuff. It's like flexible and it needs another coat. But that took a couple of days to do the outside, which was not too bad. Doing the inside took a good deal longer. And this is the inside. This is treated ceiling, walls and everything with Sadolin. Not Sadolin, Sadolin's on the outside. Ronseal, satin finish varnish. Photos by me. Prints with text by my stepdaughter-in-law. I'm not naming people because they they deserve their privacy. Yeah, there is video footage on Periscope of me varnishing this thing, and many hours of it. I ran my camera in here on my phone, and people were watching me varnishing. All the furniture was in here already, which made it very difficult to do. And I was having to move it all around and cover it in dust sheets and everything, so I didn't get varnish on it. That was difficult, and it took me a week, literally, well, 7 days I would say, to varnish the inside of this, because it needed 2 coats, and it's a lot of detail work, like around the windows, getting them and not dripping it all over the place. That was hard work. So it was a week of varnishing it. And then I did the outside. And then we had another garden party pretty much as soon as I was finished, just a few days ago. And it is absolutely bloody, it's great because it can be boiling outside and boiling in the house. Yet it's still cool in here. Is, you know, you sit outside and fry, but you step back in here and it's bearable and it's cool at night. I mean, on those really hot nights when it's so hot that you can't sleep, I think it would be possible to sleep in here. Yeah, so that has been my past, what, 3 months when not dealing with other commitments. Spare time has been spent sorting this out, from literally from clearing the garden, demolishing the shed, keeping everything like functioning normally while they're building this and then decorating this and treating the outside and everything. It's been a bit of an adventure, but it's so worth it. Just the ability to have all the family around here, and I mean we're talking 11 people. Obviously, you could fit all 11 people in here, though it would be a bit crowded. But I mean, the way it worked, there were people in the garden, there were people in here, there were people in the kitchen, while the dogs stayed in the living room watching telly. And then when we needed to bring the dogs out, basically everyone came in. Well, we got the kids in here because we don't want them getting bowled over. Some adults were in here, and some stayed in the garden. But you know, get the kids in here, let the dogs out, and the kids were watching out of the window and stroking Bailey while Max was chasing a ball. Great. It's been an interesting summer. It's going to be interesting to see what it's like in the winter, because as I said, it's insulated, it's double glazed, it's heated. We shouldn't lose too much heat through the roof or the floor because they're insulated. I don't know how well it will hold heat through the walls. I mean, I say it's thick planks of wood. These, if you can get a idea, that's how thick the walls are. So, you know, a couple of inches. I hear a cat. Milo. Oh, fine, bugger off then. One of our many cats. I don't think he's been in here. He's just saying, love me, but then he runs away as I open the door. So yeah, that is my little story of this summer house that I thought I'd share with you, because I haven't done anything on this channel for ages, and it was about time I told you what I've been doing. Yeah, so that's all really. Thank you for watching.